What's going on, guys? I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe during this time. In this video, what I'm going to be doing is breaking down a recent music video that I shot, and that music video is for the artist Jab, and the title of this song is Let's Go Get It. Now, this will be another in-depth breakdown of the behind the scenes for this music video, where I will be talking about not only the camera I used, the camera equipment that I used, but as well as the actual lighting setup and how each scene was set up and shot. So guys, if you haven't watched this music video, you can click the I up in the right hand corner. I will leave a link to the actual music video so you all can go check that out, and then come back here and watch the behind the scenes breakdown of how this music video was set up and shot. So let's go ahead and break down the camera that was used and the camera related gear that was used for this music video shoot. This was shot again on the GH5. That has usually been my go-to for most music videos, unless there is a bigger budget involved, at which time I will use either the Red or an ARRI Alexa or an Alexa Mini. Just depends on what the budget is, but in most cases I'm usually shooting on my GH5. So the lenses that I chose to use was the Sigma Art 18 to 35 millimeter, the Nifty 50 Canon 50 millimeter 1.8, and the Canon 100 millimeter macro lens. Now, I usually use these three lenses on most of my music video shoots because it does offer a wide variety of focal lengths. For the Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter, it encompasses from the wide range all the way up to a a more closer in-depth focal length. So that 18 to 35 gives a great focal length range, especially when you're moving on the fly and you may not have a lot of time to keep switching lenses. Especially if you're shooting on a Ronin or a stabilizer, where if you switch the lenses out, you're going to have to rebalance the gimbal or the stabilizer that you are using. So the 18 to 35 millimeter is usually the main lens that I use on my music video sets when I'm shooting with the GH5. Now, between the Canon 50 millimeter 1.8 or the Nifty 50 and the Canon 100 millimeter macro, that is also two lenses that I love to use on a majority of my music video shoots, because these are the prime lenses that are going to be focusing more on detail. When you start to go 50 millimeter and higher, especially when you're at 100 millimeter, you're focusing more on a detail, a part of a shot. So like a 18-24 millimeter or a fisheye lens is getting the whole scene of whatever you're shooting. And when you go up to those higher focal lengths from the 50, the 85 millimeter, the 100 millimeter and above, you're focusing more in on details. So that is a couple of lenses that I do love to use on my music video sets. So these were the three main lenses that I did use on the shoot, which was the 18 to 35, the 50 millimeter 1.8, and the 100 millimeter macro. I will leave links down in the description on where you can go ahead and check out those lenses and go ahead and purchase them if you do want to use them for your future shoots. So for this music video, we did use two locations, and the first location was somebody's home that is in the trap. And I actually did get this contact from Full With The Camera. Apparently this person has rented out their home for several music video shoots, not only for Full With The Camera, but for other directors in the Atlanta area, whether it be for major shoots or indie shoots. So this was the first location that we did shoot for the music video. The second location was shot at a warehouse, again, which is used for many music videos and major production shoots. The second location, I will leave a link down below, where you can shoot if you're in the Atlanta area and you need to use that warehouse. I'll leave the link down below where you can contact them and then book that warehouse for future shoots. So for this music video shoot, it was more of a run and gun style budget. So it was only two people involved with this music video shoot, and that was going to be myself and YC Imaging. And because this was a run and gun style budget, there was certain jobs that both of us had to do instead of just having one job on set. So YC did come and shoot behind the scenes as well as do the lighting for this music video shoot, while I shot the music video and directed the music video as well, and colored and edited the music video. With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and hop into the first location and the first scene setup for this music video shoot. I'm actually going to let YC break this down a little bit. He was filming and doing a mini vlog. He did happen to talk on camera while we were on set, breaking down certain parts of each part of the music video and scene selection. So I'm gonna let him go ahead and break this first part down before we go ahead and hop into the voiceover.
Yo, what up, guys? I'm with the homie Joe. We are on set shooting a video. I'm sitting in the set right now. I'm like sitting to see how the lighting looks. This little, you see like the little blind shape right there? That's fake. We set all this up. I'm gonna show you the lighting setup in a second, but we got the 120D over there with the dome on it. Then we got the open window, but we kind of emulating this effect right here using a spotlight mount from Aperture. Let me show y'all the lighting setup real quick. So look, we got the 120D right here. This is the Mark 1 with the light dome Mark 1. This is our key light source for this particular shot. Then over here, we're emulating this look with the spotlight mount outside on the porch. I'm gonna show you in a second, but we got these windows open to kind of make it look like it's a morning shot, morning-esque shots. Let me show y'all where the spotlight mount is. Hold up. So yeah, it's raining. I forgot to tell y'all it's raining. It's raining. We have this umbrella taped to this Aputure 300D. We got trash bags on that to make sure nothing gets wet. And this is what's shining that blinds look through the window. So that's our setup. So we're shooting this music video right now on a GH5 with the Sigma 18-35. With this particular shot anyways, we got the slider over there. We're gonna be sliding in and out of the doorway, side to side in the doorway. It's gonna be a dope shot. The only problem with all of this is the artist isn't here yet.
They're an hour late. We were
Yeah.
supposed to start at 11 and it is 12.
Yeah. So we've been here, we got here probably like what, 10:30?
10:30.
We got here at 10:30. Got all this stuff set up. We've been chilling, getting everything perfect, and the artist originally said he was 30 minutes late, and that jumped up to another 45, so we waiting. So guys, for the first setup and only performance scene at this location, as YC was explaining, it was lit with 2 Aputure lights. The key light was an Aputure 120D with softbox positioned diagonally left from the artist. The Aputure 300D spotlight was positioned outside diagonally right from the artist and was used as the backlight to create a blinds look onto the back of the wall when obviously it was raining outside and we had no sunlight beaming into the room. This was one of the music videos I made it a challenge again not to use my Ronin or any gimbal. So for the shot selections in this first scene and location, I used a combination of handheld, tripod, and the slider that YC had let me borrow for this shoot. So the remaining scenes that we did shoot at this trap house and this location was B-roll related scenes. And the next scene in this location was with the whole crew playing dice and drinking and smoking in the, I guess, family room area of the trap house. The lighting used for the rest of the scenes in this house was with the Aputure 120D and softbox. This light served as the fill light in the room with the whole crew. And I did open up the blinds on each window to allow natural lighting to seep through into the room to provide a little bit of extra light. Now, a majority of these B-roll scenes was again shot in V-Log, either between 60 frames per second to 72 frames per second in 8-bit. So this was how the B-roll and most of the slow motion shots for this music video were shot between the 60 to 72 frames per second. So we pretty much wrapped up all of the shots that we had to do inside. We filming some outside exterior shots now. The artist hopping out and going into the Benz, driving off, and then we're gonna relocate to our next location, which is the warehouse. Joe's using the GH5 18-35 still, and we're using a Sir Magic Carpet Pro slider for these couple of shots, which is dope. This neighborhood's fire though, man. Like, I don't know if y'all can see, man, but it's like we got the whole fall vibe going on, and it's very rugged, and it's dope, man. It's really helping sell the look that we're going for this video. So the last scene at this location was outside of the trap house. The scenes that we were shooting outside was for the intro to the music video, which was giving the establishing shot of the trap house, and the scenes where Jab is leaving the trap house with the duffel bag and getting into the car to head to the plug, which is what we shot for the last part of this location. So for both of these scenes that were shot outside, this was shot with a combination of the tripod and then the slider on top of the tripod, as well as handheld shots to establish different angles of Jab leaving and getting into the car. So for the outside scenes, I did choose to just use natural lighting. I didn't use the Aputure 120D or the 300D. It was bright enough at the time and it had stopped raining to where I could just use the natural lighting. Now for each of these scenes throughout the whole music video, I did again use my color checker to set the white balance and to get my exposure correctly balanced when needed. So the second location for this music video was set up for the remainder 2 performance scenes and the B-roll scenes where Jab would be coming to meet the plug and drop off money and pick up more work. Again, this location was at the warehouse that is used regularly by other directors and production companies for music videos. You can find the link below on the warehouse on how to book them for your next shoot. And for this next setup, I'm gonna let YC briefly go over this next scene selection and setup before we go more in depth with the lighting and shot selection. Yeah, so what y'all just saw me use is the Aputure MC light. It's a portable USB-C power light. It has an internal battery so you can charge it. It does full RGB. It also does lighting effects as well. So if you wanted to do like a cop car lightning, it does all that. And it has magnets on the back. That's how you see me kind of stick it up to the top of this this little cage setup. So this is gonna be the first scene that we're gonna do here in the warehouse. We're trying to figure out how we can light this, and this is a perfect application for it because it's a clean scene, no light stands, sticks right to the top. It's like literally perfect scenario to use this light. So I'm excited because this is actually gonna be the first time that I've actually used this on a set. Have it in my backpack at all times. I'm gonna link it down in the description. I'm gonna probably be doing like a full review on it, but just know it's amazing. It's under $100 too, I think. So I'm gonna link it down in the description.
So as YC was explaining, the first scene at the second location, which was a performance scene, was lit with the Aputure MC light, which instead of being positioned above the artist like he just was showing you, we actually changed it last minute and had it positioned to the left-hand side, pointing on the one side of the artist's face. The hue was set to red, and positioned directly above the artist, we rigged the LED light, which we found last minute, which was chilling in the same scene in the back corner with all the other pile of rubble and stuff like that. I did use a yellow gel that we wrapped and taped around the LED. I can't remember if this gel was left over from previous music videos on my projects or YC's, but we did have leftover yellow gel that you can go get at Michael's. It's very cheap. It's a cheap way instead of going and purchasing those high expensive gels online. So we did end up using the yellow gel to tape around the LED and then hang it above the artist's head, between the LED hanging above the artist's head and the Aputure MC light on the right hand side. This was the lighting that was used for this specific scene. So the shots for this scene was a combination of the SURB slider set on the tripod and handheld shots. Now for the next scene and last performance shot of the second location, we achieved this look by having the foreign car pull up into the warehouse and position this at a side angle where Jab would be leaning out of the passenger back side of the car. The lighting used to create this scene was a combination of the Aputure 120D, 300D with the spotlight attachment and the random LED used in the other performance scene we just talked about. The Aputure 120D was used as the key light positioned diagonally left overhead of the artist. The 300D with spotlight attachment was used as the backlight positioned above the car and pointing down, peering through the backseat driver's side window. And the random LED that we had found earlier that we attached the yellow gel to was placed inside of the car, and it was positioned resting between the driver and passenger side headrest. Now the Aputure 300D spotlight, we placed some of the remaining yellow gel onto the light to blend in with the LED that was placed inside of the car. The scene was shot with the SURB slider positioned on the ground and the camera facing up, sliding from a left to right and front to back motion. The rest of the shots, which were for B-roll and slow motion, were filmed handheld, and again this was between the 60 to 72 frames per second in V-Log 8-bit. Now the final scene at this location, which was the B-roll scene of Jab pulling up to the warehouse to meet the plug and do the exchange of the money and product, was filmed in the business office of the warehouse. Only one light was used, and this was the Aputure 120D positioned directly above the talents. This was an exchange between two people, so I shot a couple of takes from each person's perspective and point of view. So depending on which person's point of view I was shooting from is where the lighting was positioned more to favor. The way I shot this scene was a mixture of both handheld shots and on the tripod. Now one more important thing I do want to mention is that the lighting stands I used was YC's, which were C-stands that are attached to rolling wheels instead of the regular wheelless C-stands. Now the wheeled stands is something that I would highly recommend any filmmaker invest in. This saves a lot of time and wear and tear on your body, or whoever's running lighting for a specific shoot, which really matters, especially if you're on a shoot that's pressed on time. Instead of having to pick up and move the lights and sandbags, you can just move the stands, which is much easier due to the wheels also having a unlock and lock aspect that comes with the wheel stands. So I will leave a link in my equipment list where you all can purchase this. Again, this is something that I would highly recommend that you invest in for your future shoots, whether it be music videos or whatever production that you're shooting moving forward. So for the last scene in this music video, which was shot a couple days later, this was a pickup shoot date. This was the driving through downtown Atlanta and the car driving scenes that you see transitioning from the first verse and hook to the second verse and hook. So these scenes, lighting was all natural lighting from outside. On this day we shot it, it was sunny outside as opposed to the first shoot day with YC where it was raining and gloomy. For this shoot day and quick pickup scene, we established this scene by bringing C. Ryan's car mount and placing the car mount on the passenger side door facing towards the back passenger side of the car where Jab would be sitting. I had the window down on both passenger side windows for me to be able to hang out of the car and look at the camera, and for the camera to still be shooting looking into the back passenger side window where Jab would be sitting. So for the rest of the scenes, shooting in the car, which was B-roll of the city, I switched seats with Jab, and he ended up sitting in the front while I sat in the back. And C. Ryan positioned the car mount to be facing out, away from the car, looking towards the city and street, so I could shoot from inside of the car looking out towards the city while it was still positioned on the car mount. You can find the link for this car mount in the description below under the equipment that was used for this music video. So guys, the last thing that I do want to discuss that I did for this music video was the scenes where you'll see where I inserted in photographs into the music video.
All right, so you got the 1DX right now.
Correct.
Out, about to take some photos. The artist, why? Tell me.
So what I'm doing is I'm going to be taking photos of each location I'm in, and that's going to be the transition from each scene to the next scene. So it'll have that film grain, that vintage look, and it has the beat where it's like choppy. So once it has that choppy part of the beat, I'm going to throw the photos in there, and then we'll transition to the next scene. So the first scene is going to be outside using the slider coming in. It'll transition with photos into the family room with them shooting dice and everything like that. Then from there to the kitchen, and then from the kitchen to the bedroom, and then so forth, all using photos as the transitioning effect.
Yeah, so this is what I tried to do for the Side For Me video, but I totally failed. I had like these cool photo bursts. I just couldn't fit them into the scene, but I like the way Joe's doing it because it's helping them transition from one location to the next, or one spot in a location to the next spot, which I think is really dope and it's really unique. And it's not like a zoom effect. No shots to y'all, I just did a video talking about that.
Now, I didn't have my point and shoot Yashica T4 film camera at the time, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to get the film developed quick enough where I had to meet the deadline for this music video. So instead of having my point and shoot film camera on set, what I did was I brought my Canon 1DX Mark II, and I just took a whole bunch of photos and stills on set for each scene and each location. In the treatment, I had actually spoke about basically taking and having stills in the intro transition from one scene to the next to establish where we were. Instead of just doing like zoom in and zoom out transitions, basically the photos was going to be the transition from each scene in the intro that you do see in the music video, as well as playing to certain parts of the beat throughout the rest of the music video. So that is why I took a lot of photos and stills on set. And then again, I wanted it to have a more film-esque look. I didn't want it to be digital. So not only did I try to edit it to have more of a film-esque look, but I did also add more grain and dirt overlays and dust overlays to give it that more film-esque look and less digital look for the music video. So guys, this is going to be how each scene and location was not only shot, but how it was lit. If you would like to see a separate video breaking down how I color corrected and color graded this video, let me know down in the comments below. If you would like to see more videos breaking down my music video sets, leave a like, comment, and share this video, as well as smash the subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all the content that is releasing on this channel. I'll see you guys on the next video.